As I had mentioned in my season 1 finale, episode 8 of Defending Jacob, I want to do a separate video really highlighting the differences between how the book ended and how the series ended, and that's what we're talking about today. I'm going to let you all know what the differences were, which one I prefer, but also want to know which one you guys prefer. We're going to talk about that and much more. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Movie Files. Elliot back again with another Defending Jacob video. In today's video, we'll basically be talking about the differences between how the book ended and how the series ended, which one I prefer, which one do you guys prefer, and we're going to have a fun discussion. But before we even dive into it, as you can see on the screen now, make sure you're following me on all my other social media accounts. If you're new to this channel, definitely subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss any of my new content. Give this video a thumbs up, really helps out the channel, but also really appreciate it. And let me know what you all think about the differences. Did you like the finale? Would you have preferred the book's finale? Let me know what you all are thinking. Let's have some fun discussions in the comments below. So again, forewarning, these are spoilers for the book as well as the TV show, but I will let you guys know I have not read the book, but after I saw the finale on Thursday, I went into a bit of a rabbit hole. I immediately went into Wikipedia, different websites, just to see, took some notes to see how the book ended and then compared it to the show. So again, I haven't read the book, so some of these details, I might be missing some things, so definitely clarify it. If you guys have read the book, let me know in the comments. But we're going to dive into it, but before we do that, I want to let you all know that I will be doing a live YouTube watch along for the finale this Sunday. I'm still working out what time I'm going to do it, but by the time this video is posted, I'll have it in the description below. So join me this Sunday at a time to be determined to watch the series finale, episode 8 of Defending Jacob, and we're going to break down the episode, talk about our pros, our cons, our theories, all that fun stuff. So definitely mark your calendars for Sunday, later today, to do a watch along. So with that being said, let's kind of break down some of the big moments ending the series in the book. So one of the first things I wanted to tackle was Leonard Pat's death. Now, we know how the show played out. We know how everything kind of happened with Billy and Olari and all that different stuff. But let me highlight a little bit of how the book ended and how the book presented Pat's death versus what the series did. The book version shows, Pat does die. Lori and Andy assume that he was trying to save Jacob from going to jail. They think that their son is still slightly guilty, but they are happy to slightly move on and kind of open a new chapter to their lives. It is then revealed that, similar to the series, Andy's father, who is in jail for murder, as we know, was hired a hitman to kill Pats. Now, before we go into which version of that particular storyline I preferred, let me just kind of recap what happened in the show. So very similar to the book, Pats does kill himself. Initially, they think he kills himself. He leaves a confession letter saying that he killed Ben. And Lori and Andy, as we saw on the show, were pretty happy about the news in regards to what happened with everything. They went to Jacob. They told him the news. He seemed to be happy. And also, we know that Andy found out that it was his father, Billy, that hired the hitman, Olari, to kill Pats. Now, which version? They're very similar. The one thing that I did take away from what I gathered from the notes I saw online was it seems like Lori and Andy seemed to be a little bit more sympathetic towards Pats in regards to they felt like he was doing them a favor and helping out, Jacob from going to jail. So he killed himself and confessed to the murder. Where in the series, they didn't really have any feelings about it. They were just pretty much happy about the situation, but they never really looked at Pat as like he did the right thing in regards to, confessing to the murder, but also taking himself out. But so that I would say for me personally, between those two, I actually like how the series handled it because, again, there wasn't that much establishment between Pat's and the Barber family outside of Andy and his interactions with him. So I kind of liked the route that the show went. But let me know which one you guys preferred. And also for those book readers, let me know if there's a little bit more meat within that particular storyline in regards to how things were handled. Was it a matter of like the show where Andy saw the wrench, he saw the police report, and then, gathered the information, or was it a little bit less details within the book? So let me know which one you guys prefer. But I actually prefer the series, how they handled that particular situation. So on to another big topic, what happened after the trial. So as we know in the show, they found out the news about Pat, the case is dismissed, the family goes on vacation, which we'll talk about here in a bit, but let me go over briefly what happened after trial from the book's version. So the Barbers head off to Jamaica, and Jacob becomes friend with a young lady named Hope. Eventually, she actually she comes missing, just like she does in the series, and Hope's parents start to wonder. When Jacob's mother, Lori, discovers a red stain on his shorts, she becomes more curious. mysterious. Weeks later, her body is found, and she was found to be strangled to death. Now, before I give you guys my opinion, let's go into the show. So very similar. Instead of her going to Jamaica, they go to Mexico. Jacob does befriend a young lady by the name of Hope. They go to a New Year's Eve party. Now, the difference here is with the New Year's Eve party, they have a bit of a fight, and then there's Andy and Lori notice that he has a different shirt on, which is kind of a similar thing to the whole stains on his pants from the book. But unlike the series, Hope does come back. She's missing, but she comes back due to being, taken by these older gentlemen that was going to probably do some bad things to her. But obviously the implications really kind of hurt the Barber family, because obviously Andy confessed to Lori what happened with Pat and everything of that nature. But man, the book, that is really definitive, right? So I actually prefer the book's version of how they handled the after trial situation in the Vacation, because that whole red stains, the blood, potentially blood on his shorts, and the fact that she dies versus in the series she's alive and she was just missing. That book really kind of highlights that, the author is saying in the book that, he did it again. He yet again murdered a kid. And obviously at this point, Andy and Lori have to be like, it's our fault. We let our son off the hook. He murdered someone else. He's now becoming a risk and a threat to not only us, but other people. So I actually prefer that more. Even though it's dark and sinister, I prefer the book's version of how they handled the after trial, because that really kind of points towards Jacob's a dark individual, and now he's becoming somewhat of a serial killer. So I actually prefer that, because it actually kind of wraps up into what I'm going to get into now, which is the big moment, the accident, the car accident. So, and everyone's wondering, did he do it or did he not? So I think that particular version from the Vacation really highlights if Jacob was guilty. So let's go over briefly the book's version of what happened after the Vacation and that accident. So Jacob's mother just cannot deal with the fact that her son is a murderer any longer. While driving him, she purposely wrecks her car. Now, this is a big thing. In that car accident, Jacob does die. He instantly dies. She is critically injured herself, but it is revealed, similar to in the series, that Andy was on trial of a hearing the whole time because of his wife on the stand for the murder of her son. Now, before I get into that, let's briefly go over the show's version. So very similar. Jacob's mother is driving him. They get into a bit of a conversation in regards to, she flat out asks him, did you do it? Did you kill Ben? And obviously we know how all that played out. And very similar to the book, she purposely turns the car in the rain and they crash into the wall. Now, big difference between the show and the series. Obviously, Lori is still alive, but then Jacob's still alive, which I'll talk about here in a bit, because I did some research in regards to the writer and his kind of input on why he chose that route. But preference here, that's a pretty dark ending, right? In regards to the book, how she does purposely wreck the car, but Jacob dies. So that really leaves open the whole possibility of just like, did he do it? Did he not? But again, I think the book really kind of, even though it's kind of open-ended, very similar to the show, I think that the book is really kind of pointing towards that Jacob was the murderer in regards to especially what happened on Vacation and everything of that nature. But in regards to the series, after reading some of you all's comments, a lot of you all, similar to me, I thought that was a really, really big decision that Lori made in regards to, I was a big fan of the Lori character. I was one of the people that I felt for Lori in regards to, she did the right thing. She was not going to do what Andy did, which was kind of brush off the fact that their son's possibly a murderer, and there is precedent, there's evidence of him doing these these violent things. So but up until that point, seeing her do that, that really is a very interesting character trait, that she actually decides to try to kill herself or harm herself. I don't know necessarily, again, I'm not in Lori's head. I don't know if the book elaborates on it more, but she could have just been, I need to do something about it. So I don't know if it was an idea of I'm going to crash this car into the wall and hopefully reset some things, or she does want to kill both of them. But in the book, like I said, that's a very dark ending that Jacob does end up dying. But going back to the series, I read that the writer, I should say, of the series said that the reason he deviated from Jacob dying, he felt like it was more painful and tragic if both characters live. So a lot of you all was wondering, is Jacob going to live? He's going to die? From the writer of the show, he took it as they're both going to be okay, but the idea is going to be they're going to be living in their own prison, because Lori, even though she has some short memories, she lost some of her memories of the accident. Jacob's gonna come again. This is based on what I read from the writer. Jacob will be okay, but he's gonna have to live with the fact that now that he thinks his mom tried to kill him. So that is a very dark and kind of tragic ending for both things. But if you ask me which one do I prefer, the book or the series, I gotta go with that series, especially reading what the writer of the show said in regards to they're both gonna live, but they now have to live with the fact that Lori thinks that her son's a killer and a murderer and killed Ben, and obviously is due, Leonard's death is due to her son. But then they have to live with that idea versus Jacob, dying and not having the, living with the idea of being a murderer. So I actually like what the series did. So, all in all, guys, and I guess the big question is, so did Jacob actually kill Ben? Again, both the book and the show kind of leave it open-ended. But again, I've said it on my reviews, I think Jacob did it, especially from the book's telling. Again, with the evidence of the stains on his shorts and everything that played out there, I think that the author of the book is really saying that, yes, Jacob was the killer. The series kind of leaves it open-ended a little bit more, in my opinion, in regards to, obviously, before the car accident, Jacob was like, Mom, okay, I did it. I just wanted to, obviously he said that because we assume he said that because he wanted to get out of the situation that his mom was driving, speeding in the rain and didn't want to get hurt. But the series, to me, still kind of points towards Jacob being the murderer, in my opinion. Again, based on that story from the Cut website, based on his lack of empathy, based on his at a young childhood, with the whole bowling ball incident, I think that even though, again, you can't just assume that those things don't necessarily mean he's a murderer, but based on the things the show presents to us, I personally feel confident saying that Jacob did murder Ben in the show, as well as I think that that's what the author was saying in the book. But again, it's open to interpretation. I would love to know if you guys don't think Jacob did it. Was it Pat's? Was it potentially Matt? Was it someone else that we didn't even meet? Was it, some people brought up Ben's own father killed him. Let me know. O'Larry, I don't know why O'Larry would kill him. That would make no sense. Scratch what I just said. But let me know if you guys don't think Jacob did it. Who do you think was the murderer? But if you do think Jacob did it, let me know some of your reasons why as well, as far as if you read the book, if you watched the show. Let me know your comments below. So again, later today, I'm still working out the time, but by the time this video is out, I'm going to give you guys a time. But I will be doing a live watch along for the series finale. And I just want to have a great time with you all, breaking it down, hearing your comments, your thoughts, your theories. So definitely tune in for that live watch along later today for the finale of Defending Jacob. Check out all my other content for this show, all my reviews. I did a prediction video. I obviously reviewed the 30-minute review for the series finale. I'm obviously doing this video, so definitely check out all that content. So thank you all for watching this video, and hopefully you can join that watch along. Hopefully you guys are staying safe. Thank you for watching this, and we'll see you soon.